What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Look, man, sometimes people get carried away with a little success. And, promoters' jobs are to sell, but, hey, man, I'm just going to call it and act like, the guys really believe the stuff that they're saying. And Eddie Hearn talking about Kell Brook is better than Errol Spence because of the performance that he had with Robchenko. That's bananas. And also, man, I really wish that I hope this isn't a situation where Kell Brook is getting in, biting off more than he can chew with his career, because, man, look, the Lions are surrounding him, man. I'm telling you, they're surrounding him, and Kell Brook better take that Amir Khan fight and consider himself lucky. Don't get in with these boys, Kell. Don't get in with them. So, that's the subject of this conversation, man. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. There was a good article that came out where my man Kell Brook gave his thoughts on it. Definitely a bunch of different interviews on it, man. It's an interesting subject. Now, before I go into that, though, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that when we do this live stream, which I'm probably going to do in about an hour from here, we can have a good conversation. You'll be able to get that notification so we can have some real time back and forth discussions about boxing with mature boxing fans. And the best way, because I don't do these things I don't schedule them out. The best way to know when the live streams is to be notified with that bell icon. So, that said, there was a couple press conferences that took place yesterday. After fights, people are talking, and the interviewers get in the fighter's face and get their thoughts on different fights and things. So a couple things happened in the press conference for Kell Brook at the post fight. Well, first of all, as you might know, I'm sure you know by now, if you're a boxing fan and we're paying attention to the fights yesterday and didn't get lost in the glorious night that we had with the heavyweights and Deontay Wilder, Bomb Squad, doing my boy in. Man, Luis or King Kong Ortiz, if you just really set on your mind that you were going to check out that fight and you were nervous like I was, it's very well that you might have missed this, especially in the United States where you have to tune into a live stream or something like that and figure out how that you can actually see this fight. But, for the diehard boxing addicts, we find a way to check out the fight. So that's how I started my day yesterday, was watching Robchenko versus Kell Brook. Truth be told, I was really wanting to see Josh Taylor. I wound up checking out Josh Taylor a little later on, but I did get to see the Kell Brook fight, and I actually was doing a live stream when it was on, watching it, getting comments and with cats from the UK and the United States going back and forth on what was going on in the fight. So Kell Brook winds up knocking out Robchenko in the second round, hit him clean on the temple. I think it was a right hand. I think it was a right hook, something like that. Hit Robchenko on the temple, and he knocks out Robchenko in the second round. So, now we got Special K is back. He slapped him up with that chocolate brownie. I have no clue why that dude uses that name, man. Somebody that knows Kell Brook need to be like, look, Kell, we gotta find a new moniker, dog. Okay, we got cats with Bomb Squad, Man Down. We got all kind of, Money May, and you got chocolate brownies. Dog, come on, man. That's not got King Kong. Come on, man. The Body Snatcher. We got all the kind of stuff like that, man. And you got chocolate brownies. That's not working. But anyway, man, he hit him with a chocolate brownie upside the head and knocked out Robchenko. So after that, they have the press conference, and Eddie Hearn, Fast Eddie Hearn, being Fast Eddie Hearn, he's talking about what kind of fights he wants to have happening for Kell Brook, because Kell Brook is back. He's at 154 pounds now. He doesn't have to lose weight like he was losing. He had to lose weight to make 147 pounds. Dominic Ingle was talking about how much stronger he looked. All that stuff, yada, 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 all the good stuff that very well may be true. When you're fighting a guy like Robchenko and you're supposed to beat him, he did what he's supposed to do. He got the guy out of there. So kudos to Kell Brook. And like I said, man, I think Kell Brook is an excellent fighter. Definitely one of the, the top-notch, high-class fighters out of the UK. which the UK is, seems to be producing a little more often than it used to. So, my hat's off to him. Now, the things that I take issue with, however, is the conversation that he had that, like I said, Eddie Hearn said about Errol Spence Jr. That now he believes that the reason that Kell Brook lost to Errol Spence Jr. was the fact that Kell Brook had to make 147 pounds and he's draining himself out, and he had to make that weigh-in. He had to do the weigh-in. He can only gain, 10 pounds in the weigh-in. For between the original weigh-in and the same day in the same day weigh-in that takes place, the morning of the fight. And it was that had him drained, and he, even though he weighed the same amount of money, the same amount of this, although he weighed the same amount, and he said like 12, 14. So I don't know, 12, 14. I'm sure that's stones, right? I'm not sure what that measurement, whatever it was in stones that they mentioned. He said he weighed the same thing today. I mean, the day of the fight, if the fight weight, in the ring weight, as he weighed when he fought Errol Spence Jr. But because he didn't have, since he didn't have to, squeeze down to 147 before that, it made, making that same day weight or whatever much easier. So, fair enough. Now, between that, and also Eddie Hearn said that everybody thinks that Errol Spence Jr. is the best thing since Sugar Ray Leonard, and, act as if that's not any good reason to think that. Now, I think that's foolishness. And the other thing that was said was that Kell Brook was asked in a subsequent interview whether or not he would fight Jermell Charlo, because he wants to be a two-time division champion, two-weight division champion. He had the 147 IBF title that he lost to Errol Spence Jr., and he wants to get one at 154 pounds. Eddie Hearn wants him to go fight Amir Khan. Now, as far as the Errol Spence Jr., I don't care. This is my opinion, and I don't think we're ever really going to have to see it. But if Errol Spence got in the ring with Kell Brook and gave him a rematch, say in the summertime, Kell Brook would be retired in the summertime. Would be his last fight. Errol Spence will destroy him. Destroy him. Number one, he's already been in the ring with him. And he knows what Kell Brook is going to bring. He knows what Kell Brook is going to bring. He already know, and it wasn't the eye that was getting him. He was getting him with them body shots. He was getting him and wearing him down and beating him up over the length of that fight. Eddie Hearn can say whatever Eddie Hearn wants to say. Hey, man, you're his promoter. Do your job. But, just being real. And, I don't have anything against Kell Brook, but I was saying it before that fight, just looking at the way that looking at the fights from Errol Spence and looking at the fights for Kell Brook, I was thinking to myself, Errol Spence Jr. is going to end this dude's career, because it's not like, and don't let the smooth taste fool you. He knocked that dude Robchenko out. Kell Brook is strong. I do not doubt that he's strong, but he does not have no crunching type of power where he's just going to be able to hurt Errol Spence Jr. And Errol Spence Jr. is more confident now than he was when he went in against Kell Brook then. And like I said before the fight, he's going to wear that body down. He's going to wear that body down. He's going to jab those eyeballs, and Errol Spence he's not a friendly guy in that ring. He's looking to hurt you. So he's not going to have any qualms about slapping that titanium up out his head, trying to dent that titanium. And your eyes don't go back, man. It don't go back. You know what I mean? He does not have a cyborg head. This ain't the $6 million man. All right. You don't lose fracture orbital bones and have them, replaced and tighten it with screws, and all of a sudden, you become Superman. You're damaged. And Kell Brook is damaged. That damage is, you cannot give him a new face. He didn't get a new face, and that face is going to break again if he gets in there with Errol Spence. And even if it doesn't, he's still going to be nervous enough about it and protecting that head enough and that eye enough where Errol Spence Jr. is going to absolutely tear his liver his liver and his kidneys up. So it's just one way or the other, dog, which way he wants it with Errol Spence. It ain't turning out any other way. There ain't going to be, he doesn't have the power just to flash knock out Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. knows what the dude's about and has no qualms of beating the dust off that dude. And that's exactly what would happen. Let's not have any confusion. Truth be told, Kell Brook needs to retire. He needs to stop. Because now he's moving up to 154. I'm thinking myself now, I believe that I know what Eddie Hearn's trying to do. And because Eddie Hearn was basically, why he was throwing that stuff out there, building Kell Brook's name up, the two things, like I say, Eddie Hearn talk out both sides of the neck. So, he's saying one thing in one direction, another thing in another direction, but in there somewhere lies what he wants. Why he's lying, he's telling the truth. Half of it's a lie or hyperbole or whatever, showmanship. And in there is the heart, somewhere in there is the heart of the matter. He wants Amir Khan because he got two broken up fighters, one guy with a broken eyeball, a guy with two broken eyeballs, and a guy with a multiple time fractured chin, not literally fractured, but broken chin, glass chin, whatever you want to call it. I mean, seriously, man, you can hit some glass and if it's thick enough, it ain't breaking. I don't know what that dude got, an eggshell chin. Whatever it is, it's been busted. It's been busted up, and it was busted up in the last fight. So he's going to repair, give Amir Khan a match, a fight. Forget the name of the guy that he's going to fight at 150 catch weight in the UK. Let those those guys look good in a couple fights, and then bring them together, sell a bunch of tickets, build up anticipation for the fight, sell a bunch of tickets, make Amir Khan some money, make Kell Brook some money, make Eddie Hearn some money, and everybody can be happy about that. And that is what I do believe Eddie Hearn is trying to do. Now, if Eddie, and he's using the name of Errol Spence as a way to kind of rebuild Kell Brook by saying, if he was at 154, he would have been able to win this fight. Okay, that's Errol Spence. Let's go through the 154 pounders, man. First and foremost, the guy that called him out. Now, the funny thing I find about Jermell Charlo is Jermell Charlo said that he had been in a couple that he had just taken. I believe it's Jermell Charlo. I don't believe it's Jermall Charlo that said this. But Jermell Charlo was asked about, who you going to fight next? He's like, hopefully somebody that's a soft touch. He's like, shoot, I just had Erickson Lubin, and I can't remember who the guy he had before that. But he's like, I keep fighting these dudes that are real, that are real tough. I'd love to get somebody in the ring with where I ain't got to worry about them. And, that's what I'd like. Not coincidentally, he then mentions the name of Kell Brook, somebody that would be absolutely easy money. Not easy money, because Kell Brook can fight. It would be a boxing match while it lasted, but eventually it's not going to be a boxing match. Eventually it's going to be, you would hope that it would be the best thing for Kell Brook against Jermell Charlo was that it's a quick death. I don't know if you guys ever watched Game of Thrones, man, but there was this crazy king, man, it wound up Xing somebody, and the daughter of the person who he had eliminated said, but you promised me mercy. He's like, yeah, I gave him a quick death. That was merciful. I didn't make it linger. Right? That would be the best thing that Kell Brook could reasonably hope for, which is a quick one. Because if it goes long, dude, seriously, man, dude's going to get beat up. Jermell Charlo, talk about being comfortable at 154. Like, Kell Brook moved up to 154, and now he feels comfortable, but he's fighting at basically the same weight that he was fighting at 147, but he doesn't have to go through the same day weigh-in and that whole and he's allowed to rehydrate or actually not even get down as far. He's able to eat the night before, sleep, be rested and sleep well the night before. You're talking about fighting a guy that is probably thinking this is in the situation you are in, but his weight class is 160. Because Jermell Charlo ain't no time in that dude's professional career could have ever got at 147 pounds. That is a big boy. He's not quite as big as Jermell, but that's a big boy. And he's a big boy that has been in the ring, sparred on a regular basis with a guy that's a southpaw. That southpaw Cuban is Landy Lara, and is well schooled. When he was, I know he no longer is in the camp with his brother. His brother is an absolute beast at 160 pounds, and you know they've gone at it with each other as well. He's sparring with Errol Spence Jr., the cat that knows you. His trainer has been in the ring across from Kell Brook. All of that stuff spells KO, and an ugly KO at that. KO and an ugly KO at that. So let's not, I really did appreciate what Kell Brook did in that fight. It was good to see him back in the ring. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't good seeing him back in the ring because honestly, man, I think the dude needs to quit, right? And, just quit, get what I getting's good, man. Sometimes you got to get why the getting's good. Too many times in boxing, man, we see, the phrase that, don't let boxing retire, don't let, retire from boxing. Don't let boxing retire you. And that's the situation that he's in when, if he wants 154 belt, he wants to be a 2-division belt, then what Eddie Hearn said, and also Eddie Hearn had mentioned Saddam Ali. That might be a route to get in there with Saddam Ali and, try to get Saddam Ali's belt, try to get, I think that's the WBO, get the WBO belt, man. Something like that. But he better stay away from these other dudes. Kell Brook needs to stay away from Austin Trout. And it's not, and I know there's going to be people in the comment section that are going to talk about his ability to fight. I'm not talking about his ability to fight. I'm not talking about him being a fighter. I'm telling you, it's a wounded duck. It's the fact that he's a wounded duck. And that fight went 2 rounds and he never got hit in the eye. He might have had a light jab in the eye last night. That was not tested with a booming right. That was not tested with a booming right hand. That was not tested by a cat that was nowhere near the level of Austin Trout. Somebody is going to hit you. If he gets in there with Austin Trout is going to hit him. And he's going to hit him a bunch of times, dog. That's Austin Trout. And he's not a title holder. He's not even a title holder anymore. He's not a title holder anymore. You talk about is Landy Lara going to pepper that dude's eyeballs all night, man. Even if no one care what the rounds look like, and even if he was able to pull it out and win, dude, you don't know what kind of damage is Landy Lara going to do to that dude's eye. Then Jarrett Hurd? Was he going to get in there with Jarrett Hurd? Jarrett Hurd, I don't know if people saw the interviews that took place on Showtime during that fight, but man, Jarrett Hurd looked like he was bigger than, what was it? Badu Jack was up there, Jarrett Hurd, and I can't remember who the other guy was that was up there on that stage talking. But I'm sitting there looking at Badu Jack and Jarrett Hurd like these dudes about the same damn size. They're about the same size. And Jarrett Hurd said about his Landy Lara, he's like, either this dude's gonna outbox me, or he's not gonna be able to. I'm gonna be able to cut the ring off of him, and I'm gonna walk through his stuff, and I'm gonna knock this dude out. Jarrett Hurd, it would do the same thing to Kell Brook, man. It would be, and it's, for me, again, it's not a matter of whether or not Kell Brook can win the fight or not. It's whether or not the dude's going to be able to fight after that. So, hey, man, to recap, congratulations to Kell Brook. The beautiful thing about yesterday with him was, he got to get that good feeling back. It's been a rough 2 years. He probably should have definitely never taken that Gennady Golovkin fight, man. He went up. He jumped 2 weight classes to get in with a guy that, is one of the top in that division. That's a huge jump to take, man. And he paid the price because he did it. He paid the price because he did it with that broken eye socket. But then he comes back down. Coming back down to get in there with Errol Spence Jr. and a young, hungry, mega talented, no holds barred beast in Errol Spence Jr. That took that L. That's a dark, and in the interview, Kell Brook talked about that, how Errol Spence Jr. took him to that dark place. He's like, yeah, Errol Spence, you know, I'm good to be back, man. I'm working, you know, I'm not. There's reports of him drinking heavily or whatever during that time. But he's like, Errol Spence Jr. really took me to that dark place. Hey, man, and I'm glad. So I'm very happy that he's out of that. You know, congratulations to him. But let's make sure that he don't buy that. First of all, I don't even know really if Eddie Hearn's really, you know, trying to sell at it. He's trying to rebuild. He's trying to build interest. He's trying to sell. That's what I can see. Because like I said, you know, all that smack talk and the concrete thing that Eddie Hearn said was that he wants to build up a fight with Amir Khan and try to make a big fight with Amir Khan. If Kell Brook is going to fight for a major belt, then, you know, there's Saddam Ali out there. So that's the easiest one for him to get a belt is Saddam Ali, right? But even then, Eddie Hearn was like sounding very much, the wording was phrased in a way where the number one option really was try to build up and, you know, get whatever they can salvage out of that whole Amir Khan versus Kell Brook stuff. And anyway, man, so that is what it is, man. And I'm out. Peace.